Staffers Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Milgram were fatally shot outside Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. after attending a community event. The suspect, Elias Rodriguez, allegedly shouted pro-Palestinian slogan during the attack and has been charged with multiple counts, including first-degree murder and hate crimes. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar condemned the incident as a direct result of a toxic anti-Semitic incident, linking it to rising global hostility amid the ongoing Gaza conflict. The attack has prompted international condemnation and heightened security measures at Israeli missions worldwide.
Were murdered a few hours ago in an horrific terrorist attack in Washington. My condolences go to their families and to the staff of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. I have been worried for the past few months that something like this would happen. And it did. And the list of fallen Foreign Service members has grown today. This is the direct result of toxic, anti-Semitic incitement against Israel and Jews. We have witnessed an unprecedented wave of terror attacks and attempts against Israeli missions around the world, with an emphasis on Europe. There is a direct line connecting anti-Semitic and anti-Israeli incitement to this murder. This incitement is also done by leaders and officials of many countries and international organizations, especially from Europe. The words are the modern blood libels. These libels about genocide, crimes against humanity, and murdering babies paved the way exactly for such murders. This is what happens when leaders in the world surrender to the Palestinian terrorist propaganda and serve it. The statements and attacks blame Israel instead of Hamas. Hamas started the war on October 7th, is solely responsible for the war's continuation, and is solely responsible for the suffering of Israelis and Palestinians alike. I say today to these leaders and officials, stop your incitement against Israel. Stop your false accusations. Strengthen Israel in its historic battle. Were murdered a few hours ago in an horrific terrorist attack in Washington. My condolences go to their families and to the staff of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. I have been worried for the past few months that something like this would happen. And it did. And the list of fallen Foreign Service members has.
Acting U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro announced multiple charges against Elias Rodriguez, the suspect for the fatal shooting of two Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. Rodriguez faces counts including first-degree murder and murder of foreign officials. The incident is being investigated as a hate crime and potential act of terrorism. Pirro stated that the case is eligible for the death penalty, though a decision on pursuing it has not been made. Rodriguez remains in custody pending a preliminary hearing scheduled for June 18, 2025.
Before U.S. Magistrate Judge Matthew Sharbaugh with the following: murder in the first degree for the murder of 30-year-old Yaron Lishinsky, a foreign official and official guest of the United States. Mr. Lishinsky was here on official business for both Yaron Lishinsky along with 26-year-old Sarah Lynn Milgram of Kansas. In addition, there are several felony firearms charges for discharging a firearm in the middle of a violent crime and for causing the death of an individual through the use of that firearm.
Event that it wasn't publicized. Is there any idea how?
Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated, especially in the nation's capital. And we're going to continue to investigate this as a hate crime and a crime of terrorism, and we will add additional charges as the evidence warrants. So, this charging today is the initial charge. Remember, we're less than 24 hours from the crime itself. We've been advised that the defendant has appeared in court. He's had an attorney appointed. He's been advised by the judge that he could be punished by death or by life. And of course, we sought detention. The defendant waived his right to a detention hearing and concedes to detention. And right now, a preliminary hearing is set for June 18th at 1 o'clock.
Concerned about violence, anti-Semitism, or other hateful speech and rhetoric. And very recently, we have issued grants, and we have issued grants over the last several years to those institutions to harden their security, add cameras, add additional security, and I believe that the museum
Before U.S. Magistrate Judge Matthew Sharbaugh with the following: murder in the first degree for the murder of 30-year-old Yaron Levshinsky, a foreign official and official guest.
New York City Mayor Adams declared the city has no room for hate during an interfaith leaders' press conference on Thursday following the two fatal shooting of the Israeli embassy staff members by a lone gunman in Washington on Wednesday night. Let's call this what it is, depraved act of terrorism, Adams said, adding there is no known connection to New York and person responsible was not known to us. He emphasized that the NYPD's surging counter-terrorism officers in critical response commands out of an overabundance of caution. Civil rights leader Al Sharpton, who initiated the conference, highlighted the importance of unity, stating, "It is very important that we understand that this is not just a problem for one community, it is a problem for all of us. If we don't stand together when any one of us is attacked," he said.
As mayor of the largest Jewish community outside of Israel, this isn't a philosophical discussion for me. It's a level of clarity that we must all express. Jewish community feels, believe, and are under attack. When you look at the numbers, you can't be 10% of the city and have over 60% of the hate crimes. We will not be silent because we cannot be silent, and watch our brothers and sisters of any group in general, specifically our Jewish brothers and sisters, under attack in our country. We must call this hate wherever we see it, without fear, without determination. And that is how we turn the tide. To have Yaron and Sarah, two employees of the Israeli embassy, to be assassinated in public view is something that will leave a scar not only on Jewish citizens of this city and country, but for all of us of goodwill. Let's call this what it is, a depraved act of terrorism. Thankfully, the NYPD has said that there is no known connection to New York, and the person responsible was not known to us. But in response, NYPD is surging counterterrorism officers in critical response commands out of an overabundance of caution.
I called the mayor and called Rabbi Potasnik early this morning as soon as I heard about what had happened, because it is very important that we understand that this is not just a problem for one community. It's a problem for all of us if we don't stand together when any one of us is attacked. We may not agree on politics, but we must agree that we will not let hate and violence take anyone. The fact is, you cannot be a civil rights activist or leader if you're only for your own civil rights. You cannot be a faith leader if you only stand up for people in your own faith. So I would hope that people that see us stand together know we not only stand together for a press conference, we will defend each other's places of worship, education, and each other's right to peaceful protest, whatever we want. But you give people that peacefully protest a bad name when you turn naked, raw hate vigilantism and try to cover it that you're standing for a cause other than your own erosion of morality.
As mayor of the largest Jewish community outside of Israel, this isn't a philosophical discussion for me. It's a level of clarity that we must all express. Jewish community.
Processed food, chemicals, and overprescription of medicine and vaccines may be linked to the epidemic of chronic illness among American children, according to a report issued by the Trump administration. The dossier outlined the first findings of Make America Healthy Again Commission led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the health secretary.
On childhood health. Here are just some of the alarming findings, and they really are alarming. It's unbelievable, terrible. More than 40% of American children now have at least one chronic health condition. Since the 1970, rates of childhood cancer have soared in many cases by nearly 50%, 50. In the 1960s, less than 5% of the children were obese. Now over 20% are obese. A few decades ago, think of this one. This is, to me, the one that gets me every time, and it seems to be getting worse. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. Today, it's 1 in 31. And will not allow our public health system to be captured by the very industries it's supposed to oversee. So we're demanding the answers. The public is demanding the answers, and that's why we're here. Already we're phasing out 8 of the most common artificial food dyes. And we ended the most serious conflicts of interest at the FDA. We had a lot of conflicts over there. Over the next 80 days, the Commission will build on its work in this report to develop a roadmap to bold and transformative public health reforms for our consideration. It's a consideration, and we'll lay out the facts. Let me say congratulations to the entire MAHA movement. This movement has become very hot. People are really, I tell you, they're going crazy over MAHA. They're going crazy. Right? I think it's going to go down as one of the most important things we've ever done because drug costs are going down. Think of it. Then every year for 21 years, the costs have gone up. And now they're going down maybe by 85, 89. I'm telling you, 89% in 2 instances, 89% cut. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. So I'd like to ask Oz in particular, because you and I know each other. He's a very tough hombre, this one. He's tough as hell. And so if you can lead the group, and it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to get in, and you're going to have to fight. If you do it, you can have, within a period of weeks, you can have drug costs that drop like a rock, okay? So you, as a group, I have great confidence, and if you don't do it, I am firing every single one of you. Good luck, guys. All right? Can you handle it?
Oh, I'm grateful to this. This is a milestone. There's never in American history has the federal government taken a position on public health like this. And because of President Trump's leadership, it's not just one cabinet secretary, it's the entire government.
On childhood health. Here are just some of the alarming findings, and they really are alarming. It's unbelievable, terrible. More than 40% of American children now have at least one chronic health condition. Since the 1970, rates of childhood cancer have soared in many cases by nearly 50%, 50%. Wow. In the 1960s, less than 5% of the children were obese. Now over 20% are obese. A few decades ago, 1 in 1, think of this one. This is, to me, the one that gets me every time, and it seems to be getting worse. Just a few.
At least 2 people died and 8 others were injured after a small private jet struck homes, crashing into a military neighborhood of San Diego early on Thursday morning. The plane, a Cessna Citation II, crashed shortly after 3:30 a.m. local time nearby Montgomery Gibbs Airport due to foggy weather, the Federal Aviation Administration said. Authorities confirmed multiple casualties but said the exact number was unknown. 2 people were treated for minor injuries and another remains in hospital. The Casino Citation can carry between 8 and 10 passengers. Investigators were still working to determine who was registered on the flight. North Korea's attempt to launch a new 5,000-ton destroyer at the Chongyun shipyard ended in a failure, with the vessel sustaining significant damage. The side launch method used caused the stern to enter the water prematurely while the bow remained stuck, leading to the ship tilting and crushing its bottom. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, present at the lodge, condemned the incident as a criminal act resulting from absolute carelessness and has ordered those responsible to be held accountable.
진수 과정에 미숙한 지휘와 조작상 보조위로 인하여 대차 이동의 평행성을 보장하지 못한 결과 한미 부분의 진수 썰매가 먼저 리탈되어 좌주되고 일부 구간의 선조 파공으로 함의 균형이 파괴되었으며 함수 부분이 손대서 리탈되지 못하는 엄중한 사고가 발생했습니다.
측면 진수가 실패했다고 평가합니다. 크기나 규모 이런 것들을 볼 때 최연호와 비슷한 장비를 갖출 것으로 보고 있고 현재 이제 넘어져 있습니다. 바다에.
UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer finalized a historic agreement transferring sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. As a part of the deal, the UK secured a 99-year lease on Diego Garcia, home to a key US-UK military base, for 101 million sterling pounds annually. Starmer defended the agreement as vital for national security and cost-effective, likening the expense to operating an aircraft carrier. The agreement faced legal challenges from displaced Chagosians who were not consulted and remained barred from returning. While international allies welcomed the move, critics label it a betrayal of Chagosian community.
The base gives the UK and the US access to unique and vital capabilities which benefit us directly. Many of these capabilities are secret, but they include airfield and deep water port facilities, facilities that support the worldwide operation of GPS and the monitoring of objects in the Earth's orbit, and equipment to monitor the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. The base is one of the most significant contributions that we make to our security relationship with the United States, which is critical for keeping Britain safe. Almost everything we do from the base is in partnership with the US. President Trump has welcomed the deal along with other allies because they see the strategic importance of this base and that we cannot cede the ground to others who would seek to do us harm. And let me be clear, we had to act now because the base was under threat. The courts have already made decisions which undermine our position. And if Mauritius took us to court again, which they certainly would have, the UK's long-standing legal view is that we would not have a realistic
An Israeli strike hit a school housing displaced people in the Gaza city late on the evening of the Wednesday. Dramatic footage posted by Al Jazeera shows the moment of the strike at the Al Nazar Model School. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said Israeli strikes has killed at least 52 people since Thursday morning across the devastated territory as Israel ramps up its military offensive. The Palestinian health minister said on Thursday that 29 children and elderly people have died from starvation-related deaths in Gaza in recent days and that many thousands were more at mere risk.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. ارجعوا تعال من هنا. شهادنا بعيد.
Graduates of the University of Maryland may have just found their rainbow connection in the wise words of Kermit the Frog speech at their commencement ceremony on Thursday. Kermit was introduced as a star of the stage, screen, and swamp, and a 7-time best-selling author to audience of the thousands of the graduates and their families. Dressed in a tiny cap and gown, the famous amphibian encouraged new grads to find their people, take the lead, and make connections.
What a thrill it is to be back here at the University of Maryland and celebrate the class of 2025! And don't forget the summer class of 2024! And the winter class of 2024! Yeah! Did I leave anybody out? No. Great. Good. You are all here. You're all here to listen to a frog in a very tiny cap and gown give a commencement speech on, well, what's actually turned out to be a pretty beautiful evening. Yeah. Either way, I can guarantee you the forecast calls for a 100% chance of frog. So here I am. President Pines, Provost Rice, esteemed professors, proud parents, families, friends, fighting Terps, and fellow amphibians, thank you for having me. Let's hear it again for the graduates. what a thrill it is to be back here at the University of Maryland and celebrate.
And that's the end of the bulletin. Keep watching CVR News English.